Hello, hi, how are you? How do you do? How are you doing? How's it going? What's going on? What's new? What do you think? What do you say? What do you hear? What do you feel? What's shaking? What's happening? Que pasa? What's going down? What it is. This is week 7, and so I wanted to get right into what I want you to look for this week. Chapter 16, which you started in week 6, is talking now about the emergence of Southern California as a health mecca, as a place that you went to get rich, place where you went to have a great agricultural life, all of those kinds of things. The Southern Pacific Railroad is as responsible as anybody else for this, and Sunset Magazine, which was owned by the SP at the time. A lot of people consider it a con job, and you may or may not agree with that, but it is something I'd like you to look at because the publicity came in large part from the Southern Pacific. Chapter 17 really begins to look at literary criticism of the SP and of the oligarchy that was happening in the late 19th century all over the place, but particularly in California. So you could think of the writers here as their version of Barbara Ehrenreich, Bernie Sanders, Michael Parenti, people like that. So take a look at that. And in particular, you're going to look at Henry George, who wrote a number of things saying that land by itself shouldn't be a source of wealth unless it's productive land. Frank Norris, who wrote The Octopus, you read some of that last week. And then Jack London, who's known for writing things like The Call of the Wild and for being a white supremacist, but is not necessarily known for his socialism, which is something that you're going to read a little bit about in this. And then chapter 18, at least the beginnings of it, you begin to see the Big Four and the Southern Pacific machine just start to come apart at the edges and the seams. There are a number of crises that the railroad has to go through. Exposure of corrupt practices, litigation, attempts to get out of paying their debts, things like that. So you begin to see the downfall of the facade, and you see the Big Four kind of turning on each other. You'll look at what Huntington and Stanford had to say about each other. So that's what you'll be looking at in week 7. If you have any questions, please be in touch with me. Happy reading.